Hello again. You are not seeing things. This is part 2 of my craft that I'm doing today. Thanks for joining me back again. I was on a little bit a while ago, and it was my first time to do a segment for Craft Round the Clock. So I was in the group there, and so let me see. For Craft Round the Clock. Just want to make sure I can hear myself. And so I will put part 1 in the comments. Let's see. So thanks for joining me today. If you didn't get to see part 1, because hi Michelle, I am determined to finish this truck today. I want to finish it up. And also, I'm going to go ahead and put my link tree in. It is just a place where you can put all of your links together. And so that's what you're going to hear me say a lot. You're going to hear me say a lot. I am going to put that in the comments as well so that, let's see. Hello. Hi, my sweet friends. All right. Okay. So, I was on a little bit ago, because, okay, so I wanted to pin that, my link tree. I was on a little bit ago for my first segment of Craft Round the Clock, which is truly an honor to be part of that group, but we only have 45 minutes to craft. And guys, you know me, I put a lot of stuff into my projects. So, I didn't get it completely done, but I wanted to, get it to the point where I shared anyone who was watching, that you kind of know where I was going with it. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Tracy, and I craft here at Country Charm by Tracy. I love to share crafty ideas with a bit of rustic country charm, and I also love to share like whimsical kind of old school crafts, meaning old school because I love paint splatters. I love my happy dots. I love doodles, and I love splatters and squiggles and all of that stuff. So I wanted to finish this today because I want to get started on the wreath. And so I will kind of go through with you what I've done so far. But like this earlier at noon, I did my first Craft Round the Clock segment for 45 minutes. Anyway, so this is where I am so far. If you joined me and I had, put all of this fun stuff, the Excelsior and the lemons and all of that stuff, I didn't have anything glued down, so I just took it out. And so I'm going to do it now where I can kind of breathe and not have to look at the clock. And I promise I won't keep you too long, but it's like when you're on those timed events, they're good because they challenge me, but yet they're kind of a bit nerve-wracking as well. So I want to welcome you if you're watching later on the replay on Facebook or either on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Just let me know by saying #replay, and let me know if you're new here so that I can give you a special welcome, because I love crafting and I just love being here with all of you. Okay. So what I did is I had used one of the trucks. You can't, because this one was red and it had like Happy Harvest on it. And it was one from the Dollar Tree from a few years ago. Now, this was kind of like the vintage Dollar Tree truck. That's what I called it. And so in my link tree, there is a link to go to my website that has free patterns. What I've done, guys, is I have traced this out. And there is all the way down on my patterns page is the DT vintage truck, and you can print it out, and then you can either cut it out of wood or foam board or cardboard, anything like that. And so some people are doing that, some friends are doing that. And so if you are new here, welcome so much. For some reason, my comments have stopped. And anyway, so just let me know that you're here. I welcome you. Okay, so what I did, guys, is I used this. It's kind of like, I don't know, vintage buffalo check paper. So let me show you. It came out of this pad, this paper stack from Hobby Lobby, and I just pulled it out of there. But you know, Hobby Lobby also sells individual sheets, and I think they have this, so I'm just kind of sharing where I got it. And what I did is I've already done the windshield, the back glass with this slate gray paint, and then for the reflection I just used this shimmer. It is a shimmer. And then what I did is I used my fan brush, and did some lines on it as well as on the tires. And so then for the sign, I just used, one of the wooden slats from the Dollar Tree, but you can get them anywhere unfinished woods is sold. And so then I just hand lettered welcome. In my link tree also is the link. I put it in there for the free font from defont.com. It's called Geldotica, that you can download and to your computer. You can use it on your computer. You can print out different words. You can practice and all of that kind of thing. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to finish this up. And so then I thought that I would just come back on and share that with you. So let me go ahead and bend you down to my table so that you can see what we're doing. The highlight of today's craft, the inspiration, is this beautiful ribbon. And what I did is I found this ribbon last week when my mom, my sister, and I went to Houston to the NRG Center. They had their Nutcracker Spring Market. So any of you that are in Texas or in that area may be familiar with the Christmas Nutcracker Christmas market, but a few years ago they started a spring market. And so I found this beautiful ribbon. There was a booth there that she was selling wreaths, and so she had this she had ribbon and different picks and stuff like that, embellishments. And so I found this ribbon. I did put the SKU in the comments, so if you are interested in that, I did put the SKU number if you want to see that SKU. Okay, so what I want to do, okay, so then earlier I had, already put my foam in there, and I put my Excelsior stuff, but I didn't have anything glued down, so I took it out because it was a rush job, and I didn't like that. Anyway, but, to be mindful, I did what I had to do to get finished with the craft. All right. So what this truck is going to do, I am a crafter who does design wreaths, and so this is going to go on a lemon wreath. I'm going to be doing it in these colors, and so I will share pictures of wreaths that I design. I just sell them locally. I have a gift shop that asked me to do wreaths for them, and so they resell them in their gift shop, so it's only for local pickup in Brenham, Texas. All right? Okay, so what I want to do is I want to finish my letters the way that I like to do them, and that is just by putting just a highlight or a comma, I kind of call it. And I'm just using the number 2 liner brush for this. And what I do is I just put a little highlight or a little comma inside the happy dot. I used a 1/4 inch flat paintbrush, and then to make the dots on the ends of my letters, what I did is I just used the end of a paintbrush. Sometimes I will use the paintbrush itself, but today I felt like using the end of a paintbrush, and it just kind of makes the dot on the end of my letters. And so, you can kind of see that it just kind of brings it out and just kind of gives it just some character, that whimsical look that I like to do. So if you're here now, welcome. If you are watching on the replay, I am so glad that you're hi Eunice. Eunice says she's new, so thank you so much for being here. So this is how our truck is looking so far. I had taken out the Excelsior and then all of the flowers and the lemons and stuff because I wanted to finish this up, and I wanted to finish doodling, and I wanted to paint splatter, and I didn't want it to get on my my stuff. So that's what we're doing right now. All right, so then I'm just taking a fine Sharpie marker for my doodling. Hello, Tish. How are you doing, sweetie? All right, so what I'm going to do is, I want to shade just a little bit on my sign. I wish I would have done that before. I was so excited. I'm like, dang, I didn't get to my put my white swooshes in there. I don't know, I call them swooshes or commas or just little highlights for my letters. And so the reason that I'm trying to hurriedly and dry this up is because I want to shade around my sign to give it just some dimension, just to kind of bring it out a bit more. And it's what I like to do as well. And so how I like to shade, and let me grab my favorite brown. I just have all of my my paints behind me. For this, I like to use milk chocolate, which is Americana. Americana is just my preference, but any kind of paint, you know, that I just like to use acrylic paint for this kind of stuff. And so what I do to shade is, and I just use these shop towels because I just like them. They're a little bit thicker than just regular paper towels. Just says she caught you for a change. Well, that's good. I'm so glad. So what I'm using is the number 12 flat paintbrush that is in that pack. In my link tree, there is a link for my paintbrush chart, and it's just, I had taken that pack and I had shared. It kind of shows you which brush I'm using, and also there is a link for my brushes to my Amazon store. So I'm just kind of sharing because I get kind of the same comments, and so I kind of put them all in one place, kind of like a tree that holds everything. Anyway, so I dip half of my brush in paint, the other half in clean water, and then I blend on a paper towel. And so then I'm just going, you know, back and forth around in here, like where the yellow had painted. I had used for the border of the sign, I had just used, this is called golden yellow, and so I had used that. And so since I'm a little bit country, a little bit whimsical, I just like, see how you can kind of see, I had done the top, and then, you know, like the one side and the bottom isn't done yet, and so you can kind of see, I just like that look. And what I'm finding is so many friends love it as well. I do also have a free Facebook group that you can share your creations with me if there's anything that I have encouraged, you know, or inspired you to do. That's why I do this. The Lord has given me these gifts, and he said that he wants me to share them. And so now what I'm doing is just going around the edges, the outside edges of the sign. And so last summer I had retired from my day job of 32.5 years. I had been, you know, a crafter for a long time, many years. I've been on YouTube, and I always had a Facebook group, but Facebook was just a place that you just kind of shared your blog post or just shared a few things. And so I was more on YouTube because that's where, you know, I started building my community. Well, then I discovered the lives on Facebook, and so I kind of enjoy that as well. And so that's why I do my lives, the vertical or the landscape, because I re-upload them to my YouTube channel because I don't want to forget about my YouTube friends. And so this is how our little sign is looking. In my link tree, in my link tree, there is a link to my group. It's called Country Charm by Tracy, Crafty Community. Just answer the question. I just want to make sure that, you know, whoever wants to join does want to be in there. I think it's like you have to agree to the rules, and then also that you're a crafter, you know, because I've had to weed out some some people, and you know, you would think that it would be just guys, but no, there was some, not some nice ladies. Anyway, so there is it's Country Charm by Tracy Crafty Community on Facebook. So I love to see your creations, your ideas. You know, I started it when people were, you know, they didn't know where to send me. They wanted to send me. They were so excited. They recreated something that I had encouraged them to do. Now what I'm doing, I'm just taking that same brush. I've, you know, washed it out, and I'm dipping it. I'm doing the white paint. And so then now I'm just doing some highlight around my back glass, because I just really feel that that just gives just a little bit of definition as well. And so then I'm going to go here and do the same thing with my tires. Anyway, back to the group. I started it because, you know, people were, they didn't know where to send me, you know, where I could see pictures. And so I started the group just as a way for, you know, people to share their creations with me that they've done, because that's why I do this, guys, is to share, just to share the gifts that the Lord has given to me. And now I'm just taking a very loved, very old brush that I have in my stash, and I am just going to do some doodles around at the edges, just like that. It's just kind of my signature. It's what I do. And so then I also just do some highlights. I'm going to do some on the bumper here. And so the group, like I said, it is a free group. You can join it on Facebook. And, you know, you just have to answer the question. There's a lot of people that don't join because, you know, I have it like where it automatically, if you answer the question, it automatically lets you in, but they don't take the time to read. And so my thing is, if a person doesn't take the time to read the rules of a group and what they need to do, then they really don't want to be in it. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that, but that's just that's just how I feel. And so every group that I, you know, join, I just make sure that I look, you know, and read the rules of what I need to do. What do I need to, I had, and this is funny because I had joined a group recently, and I think it is, gosh darn it, I forget which one it was, but I had to read a rule, and it told me what craft supply they were using, and that was what I had to put in the description, so they knew that the real people wanted to join. Anyway, so what I've done now is I just put some white highlights, you know, on my truck. That's what I like to do. And I really feel that just by adding all those little details, just really brings your project to life. And it just really adds the extras of what, you know, you're trying to do. If this is not your style, I mean, or anyone's style, I don't mean just you, I just mean anyone's style, they don't have to do it. So I'm just taking my fine Sharpie marker and just going around the just around the edges of the letters, not even in the edges, just kind of go around them and just kind of highlighting the bubbles. Oh goodness. And I just put my hand in the paint. My goodness, I can't go anywhere without misbehaving. So this is another reason why I enjoy doing these live crafts with y'all, because when I'm on Facebook, I mean, when I'm on YouTube, you know, sometimes like if I do a pre-recorded video, like I cut all of this stuff out. So when I show you this, like if I'm crafting with you in real time, then I show you what I do, because let me tell you, I mess up all of the time, just like this. I get ahead of myself, and then I'm like, girl, why did you do that? You know, and if I'm on YouTube, I would cut that out as far like a pre-recorded video. And so I am enjoying doing these more crafting with y'all, because people are sharing with me how much they enjoy seeing a crafter fix their mistakes, because I make a lot of them. I am not a perfect crafter. I don't think anybody can say they are. If they do, well, good for them. But I am not a perfect crafter. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just taking this liner brush, and I'm just going around just giving some highlight to it. And thanks for coming back and joining me for part 2. I did part 1 this morning, but I ran out of time to finish this truck because I was on a 45-minute time, schedule for my first segment. It's 45 minutes. In the craft around the clock, the group is 45 minutes. So every crafter has 45 minutes to do a craft. And so that's why you can watch it 24/7. And the group, you can fast forward or whatever. So anyway, guys, this is how our truck is looking. I love how it's turning out, and I hope that you are too. Hey, Janet, so happy you caught me here on the second one. So now I'm kind of moving this out the way because I want to do some paint splatters. And so I'm just going to get just some black paint. And I do tend to, I like to discover new things, new techniques and that kind of thing, but I don't know, I'm just kind of old school and I just love this. Hey, Maria. Maria says it's good to catch this one. Love your real time the best, more speed, okay. Maria says this is more her speed. Thank you so much for your feedback, Maria. I do appreciate that so much. Anyway, so I just use a stiff stencil brush and a stick. You can use an old toothbrush or whatever you have or whatever, but this is just my technique. And so what I do to paint splatter is I run the stick over the bristles toward my body, never across this way, only this way. And so, because what that does is that projects the paint onto the project. See that? Just like that. If I were to run the stick across the bristles that way, guess where the paint's going to go? All over me. And I don't want that. So it does, look kind of fast because I have been doing this for so long that I just kind of know how to guide my brush. And also, guys, I always protect my space, my whatever I'm working on, because the paint is gonna get messy. You can see where the paint kind of goes over here, even though I'm controlling it. But I love the paint splatters. It just makes my heart so happy. And so I like to do black first, and just depending on if the white will show up, then I'll go back over it with the white. Now I use a different stencil brush because I put the other one in the water, only because I have them available. And so sometimes, what I have found in using the same brush, even if I try to wash it out the best that I can, I don't know, it makes gray, because of black and the white. So I just use a different one. So anyway, this is how our lemon truck is looking so far. All right, so we're going to dry this up, and then we're going to finish it up. I'm so glad that y'all were able to come back and join me for part 2. I did part 1 this morning. If you're watching on the replay, if you're watching here on Facebook, or if you're watching later on my YouTube channel, there is a part 1 that you can look for if you want to see how I put the truck together. And I was on my first segment of Craft Round the Clock, so I only had 45 minutes because their segments are only 45 minutes. So I kind of ran out of time. So that's why I came back on and was doing the second part of it. All right, let me dry this up a little bit more because I want to put a varnish on it, and I don't want it to smear because, sometimes those little paint paint things can get a little floppy. I can get a little floppy. All right. Okay. So then what I'm using is my fine Sharpie marker. And I've already doodled my truck this morning, but now I'm going to go and do this. I just like to doodle up my truck, just doodle my projects, because it just really makes, I don't know, it just adds a little bit. And sometimes, you know, if you feel that it's a little too thick, then maybe use a thinner. My favorites are the ultra fine Sharpie marker and then the fine Sharpie marker. Those are my two favorites. I get asked about those, you know, all of the time. And so I love those. Now, for my painted projects like this that I use paint in this is my favorite varnish that I like to use. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining me today. I'm finishing up this truck. And this is I like the glossy look, but they also have satin, I think, and a matte. Anyway, but I love this varnish. It just is kind of what I've been using all these years. And I just love it so much. There is a part 1 that I did this morning as part of the craft around the clock. I keep saying that only because, you know, for those that may be coming on and have no idea why I didn't show this from start to finish. Today was my first day as a presenter for Craft Around the Clock, and their segments are 45 minutes. And so I only had 45 minutes to work on my craft. And even though I did prep as much as I could, I still kind of ran out of time. So I am finishing this up on this part 2. So you can go back to the video right before this, and you can see how the truck looked before. It's a vintage truck from Dollar Tree, and if you don't have access to it and you want this particular one, I have in my link tree that is pinned in the comments. I do have a link that you can print it out off of my blog for free personal use, and you can trace it on cardboard or foam board, or if you have access to a saw with wood, you can cut it out of wood. Anyway, so this is how my truck is looking so far. I love it, love it, love it. This is the inspiration why I did this truck. I found this ribbon last week at a spring craft show, and so that me and my sister and my beautiful mother were at, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing a wreath. I'm a crafter who makes wreaths. And so I will either, I'll share a picture of the finished wreath here on my page, because sometimes I have to crank them out and I don't have time to film a whole video. Anyway, so these are all of the stuff that I was going to put in the bed of my truck. These small little lemons like this came from Walmart last year, or maybe even the year before, and I don't know, I haven't even looked this year. I hope that they have them again. They were on a pick, and so I've already cut them off. And then I'm using some of these beautiful greenery with yellow flowers on it. These came from Hobby Lobby. And then I have some of these, I had cut this off of this, I had already cut it off earlier. This Fine Excelsior I do like to get from Joann's craft store. Oh, and let me show you this. I've already painted these. These are just 20 millimeter, half-inch wood balls. No, yeah, half-inch, 20 millimeter split balls. And I have them glued on here because I got this tip from Melissa from Southern Crafts Corner. She does this by gluing them on there, and so I painted them, and then when I get ready, these are going to be the red lights for my truck once I get all of my goodies on there. So I just want to give her a shout out because I enjoy that tip. All right. So what I've done, just to recap with my sign, I painted this sign, and so it has some dimension. I painted 4 tumbling tower blocks, or like Jenga blocks from the Dollar Tree, and I had just glued them, one here, one here, one here, one here. And then down in here, I just have some styrofoam that I cut off with my serrated knife, and that is what I'm going to stick my flowers into. And so I knew that I wasn't going to have time, so I did not glue anything down this morning. So I just put that Excelsior in there. And so then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting this stuff in here. And so then now I'm going to just use my hot glue and just glue it down. So thanks for watching either now or later on the replay. Just let me know if you're watching on the replay by just putting in #replay. And so that kind of share like that. Oh, and then this morning I had shared that I was going to use some of these little yellow flowers that I got from the Dollar Tree, I think last year. But then during the break, I had remembered that I have some of these beautiful calla lily picks from Walmart. Now this has been from several years ago, and I don't know, I haven't seen them since, but look how beautiful they are. So, you know, the reason that I share is because not all stores have the same thing. And I know it's frustrating to some crafters, but, you know, I share it, even though I may not can get it, maybe some other people have access to it. So that's why I kind of share it anyway. But, okay, so these little, like I said, little lemon picks came from Walmart. And so I'm just going to cut that off and just stick this in there. I wish I could find some little mini miniature lemon picks. Have y'all ever seen any of those? Now I have some that I'm going to be using on my wreath. I think I got this big bundle. Let's see. I think this is from Michael's. Yeah, this is from Michael's because this is an Ashland tag. So I'm going to be using that on my wreath. And like I said, I'm a crafter who also makes wreaths. And so I share either like the finished, you know, kind of real look of the wreath. If I have the time, then I will share, you know, a tutorial. But wreaths usually take me a good, man, if I were to sit down and do a wreath from start to finish, 3 or 4 hours. And if I have to make the sign, see, you could see how long this has taken me to make the sign, you know, and just by having to, and then if I do a mesh wreath, then it takes me even longer. And so in my link tree are also the basics, you know, my wreath basics. I like to use the same format. So in my link tree, there's like my most common questions that I get. Where can I find this? Where can I find that? What kind of, you know, where do you get your little tiny attacher that you use for your ribbon? You know, that's in my Amazon store. Okay, so, oh gosh, I love those little calla lilies. Oh my goodness, guys, this is the pick. It says calla lily pick. Yes, I love those. I think I like those better than that, but hey, it's good to have options. It is so good to have options. So I'm going to cut this off and do this. So back to the wreaths. So if I don't, you know, I will share them as a reel or shorts on my Facebook. I've been doing that because a lot of people they get inspiration, and because I get inspiration too, you know. And so, but there are tons and tons and tons of wreath makers on the market, and they just share. Oh, I put those in the same place. That was silly. Let me put this one over here. Oh yes, that works great. Oh my goodness, guys, this is looking so cute. thanks for coming back and watching part 2 with me. Like I said, this morning I had to hurry and get my stuff done because I was on a 45-minute time schedule. And like I said, even as much as I feel like I prep, I still run out of time because I just continue to put, I like to play and I like to piddle and I like to look at it and, you know, add a little bit more and a little bit more. Oh my goodness, guys, I love that so much. I don't want to overdo it because the, you know, I'm going to use, this is going to be the main ribbon on my wreath, but I'm also going to use some other lemon ribbon that I have in my stash, and I will make sure and post a picture for you all just for inspiration. I don't know, what do y'all think? How cute is that? How cute is that? So let me see. Oh, that must have been the extra white flower. So I don't know, I may add it, I may not. I may add it and I may not. But if you just found me, my name is Tracy. I retired last year after 32.5 years last summer, and so I have the privilege of doing this full time and you know, just being a wife and a mom. But for many years I did my crafts at night and on the weekends, and so when the Lord said, okay girl, you've had enough, let somebody else do that. I worked at a facility that for 32 years it was a facility for mental health, mental retardation. That was when I first started. But then, you know, over the years they changed to intellectual disabilities. And when I left there, I was an administrative assistant in the, thanks Cindy. Cindy said it's so cute. So these are my little tail lights. I painted them red. Let's see which red I use. I use the primary red, you know, that's what I used. And anyway, so I had the option of retiring from that job back in 2018 because my age and my years of service equal to 80, because that, for the state of Texas, that's what you need to have. Anyway, so now guys, what I'm doing is I'm just gluing them on there. But it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time. And so, you know, sometimes when we listen to the Lord and, you know, he gives us that impression, we listen to him, he will tell us. Oops. I kind of got one up a little bit higher than the other. That was not good. That's what I get for, let's see if I can, oh, let me see, this one's. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So I should have stopped talking and put my truck in front of me. So how I'm going to correct that, I like to use the end of the little small E6000 glues. I can control them a little bit better than the big one. I don't know, I get frustrated with the big one. Anyway, so hold that up. And that is okay. That is okay. Even though I made that little error, it's okay because the paper kind of looks vintage anyway. It kind of looks like it's, I don't know, scraped. You know, whatever. Anyway, so then, here, I was like, where's my paint? So then now what I want to do is put just a little swoosh, a little highlight. Maria says that's what makes your work so special, to add an extra touch that you don't see elsewhere. Keep it up. Thanks, Maria. I appreciate that. I get, Maria's just one of many that friends that do say that. is that, you know, they, because I do say the beauty is in the details, and that just the little extra touches is what really makes your project. So I'll show that here. I put just a little white highlight on that one tail light, and so then you can see the other one doesn't have it. And so then I'm just using my liner brush and just putting a little dot on there. It just kind of highlights that little tail light, just like that. Thanks, Cheryl. Cheryl says it. That is so darn cute. She loves it. Well, I love y'all too. I just appreciate y'all coming back in for part 2, because like I said this morning when I was doing, I'm gonna bend you up now. This morning when I was doing the craft around the clock, I always want to say craft round the clock segment. It's only 45 minutes. And so that 45 minutes goes by fast, especially when you're a crafter like me that puts a lot of the details into your projects, just like I did this. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think? So this is part 2. And I almost felt like I touched the tail light. This is part 2. So I do have part 1 linked, or, you know, put in the comments if you want to see how I put the paper on. I did the heat transfer Mod Podge method, and how I painted the sign and all of that stuff. But this is really a finished truck. This is what I like to do. And oh, thanks, Julia. Janet says she loves it as well. Thank you so much. Now this is my spring summer lemon truck. This is my Easter truck. And I do have a video on that. It's on my channel as well as in my Facebook library. I have all of that. Eunice says that's awesome. Alana says gave them hearts. And so then this is my spring truck. I do have on my channel as well as on in my Facebook playlist. I love to do these trucks, guys, and they're very whimsical, they're very country, and this is what I like to do. I do. I just love it. And I'm so glad that a lot of friends love these as well, because that's why, guys, if y'all wouldn't be watching, if you wouldn't be sharing, if you wouldn't be letting me know, this is what I love to do, you know, share in the Country Charm Crafty community. Just remember to answer the question and you'll be granted access into the group. I welcome anyone that wants to share. You can share stuff that I've inspired you to do this year, last year, 5 years ago. I don't care. I love to see it. Thanks, Julie, for the stars. Thank y'all so much. Maria says, can't wait to see the next one. I know. I have so many ideas that I want to do. And if y'all wouldn't be here watching, you know, no one would be inspired. Terry says, I love that you do these. They are so cute. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for everyone. LaWanda says, no pit berries. Yes, I did not add any pit berries. Oh, here on this one I did. On this one I did. These are the pit berries. If y'all, Lawada, I'm sorry. Lawada says no pit berries. I like to add pit berries into my projects, but I did not add any into there. I did not. Anyway, thank you so much. Like I said, if you're watching on the replay or if you're watching later on YouTube, I appreciate you being here and for watching part 2. If you want to see the first part of it, go back to the previous video. Anyway, y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video, and y'all, God bless. Bye.